Yo, 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 welcome back to another video. It's your boy Coreythemaan, we back in it. Y'all know what time it is. We resuming where we left off, and that's on part 2 out of 3. So we're just gonna get straight back into it. And let me restart my timer as soon as I click it.
In Oranger, Ole vs. Kakuranger. This was a non-canon Sentai project in which both teams would team up together to fight a strange new yokai. This film would lay the groundwork for how Sentai team-up projects would work in the future. 1996 saw the release of one of the funniest seasons in the history of Sentai, the vehicle-themed Gekiso Sentai Car Ranger. Being a parody of Turbo Ranger, Car Ranger leaned heavily into comedy and featured some unique elements that would differentiate this season from others, one of which was a wannabe 6th Ranger named White Racer. Car Ranger was adapted into Power Rangers Turbo, which even got its own movie in the West. Car Ranger featured a lot of slapstick-type humor and took quite a few chances with the story, delivering a charming and lighthearted season at a time when Japan needed it.
Go.
With the release of 1997's dingy Sentai Mega Ranger, the fandom would be treated to a cool new show themed around virtual reality, video games, and space, paying homage to Bioman and featuring a team of high school students as they take on Nezarigia. Mega Ranger would feature many high-tech gadgets and advanced technology that had never been seen before. This series also featured holograms on the helmets of each Ranger to denote their ability, and featured the first Silver Ranger in the franchise, as well as the incredibly cool and evil Neji Ranger. This show was adapted into Power Rangers in Space, the final season of the Zordon era of Power Rangers. Mega Ranger was another dynamic and exciting season of the franchise, and the future of Super Sentai looked brighter than ever.
What's his name? Lightspeed Rescue.
1998's Super Sentai release was Seiju Sentai Gingaman, or Star Beast Squad Gingaman, featuring a team of warriors who take on the space pirates Balban. Gingaman uses quite a few motifs and themes, many of which are callbacks to the earlier Sentai seasons, such as legendary warriors, knights, and pirates. This was the final Sentai series to air alongside a Metal Hero show, and the final season to feature the word man in the title. This was also the last Sentai series to use illustrated eye catches before and after commercials. Gingaman was adapted into Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, and Gingaman was the first Sentai season in which the episodes weren't referred to as episodes, but instead chapters. 1999 brought us a Sentai themed around emergency services in QQ Sentai Go-Go 5. This show featured a team of 5 siblings as they battle against the Saima clan. Being themed around emergency services and rescues, this show featured heart-stopping action and a true sense of danger for our heroes. It was very clear from the first episode that this would be an action and drama-heavy season, but Toei would be sure to add just enough charm to keep things optimistic. This show was adapted into Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, and Go-Go 5 was the last Sentai series to only feature 5 Rangers, with none being added later. With 2000 being the last year of the millennium, the world was obsessed with time, and Japan was no different, leading to the release of Mirai Sentai Time Ranger. Asking fans to grasp the infinite future, this show had a time travel theme, and as such, it featured a team of time-traveling soldiers, with 4 of them being from the year 3000, as they take on Don Donero and the Launders. Time Ranger went in bold new directions with the story, unafraid to explore a darker tone, and this season would go down in history as one of the most mature Sentai seasons of all time. This Sentai was adapted into Power Rangers Time Force in the West, and Time Ranger was the first Sentai season to feature the now iconic Super Sentai series logo at the beginning of every episode. This was also the first Sentai season to have a red 6th Ranger, as well as the first season to air alongside a Kamen Rider show, which was Kuga.
I thought it was the.
In 2001, Toei
Wild
released
Force.
Hyakuju
No,
Sentai
earlier.
Gao Ranger,
It wasn't.
an animal-themed Sentai. This series followed a group of warriors as they fight against Org.
I've never seen this show either.
Being
It
an
looked
animal-themed
weird from the jump.
Sentai, Gao Ranger had a wild
that I
tone and
watched
style
this
that
thing.
really worked well. The
It
show would
looked
also
over.
feature
I
some
saw a
unique
clip.
elements that hadn't been seen before. Gao Ranger was the first Sentai to feature auxiliary mecha that can interact and combine with the other mecha featured on the show. This was the first Sentai where the entire team used cell phones to henshin, and this was the first Sentai to have longer, extended roll calls for each ranger. Gao Ranger was adapted into Power Rangers Wild Force, and this was the first Sentai season to be released on DVD.
忍風戦隊ハイレンジャー参上
2002 saw the
Yeah,
release of another
I know
ninja-themed
exactly
Sentai,
what
in
you mean.
Ninpu Sentai Hurricaneer. This series had a focus on elemental ninjutsu powers and followed the students of a ninja academy as they fight against the group that killed many of their fellow ninja students, the evil space ninja group Jakanja.
つまみ
That's another series. They true.
牙に
Pistolers.
クワガライザー天山
This series took what worked with Kaku
Well, it looked
Ranger,
like
but
those-
dialed up the
those
action and
guys
charm
were-
to deliver an incredibly
friends
well-balanced
all the
and
time.
memorable season, complete with a stellar cast and several unique new characters that would further differentiate it from other seasons. We would start with 3 Rangers, before adding the insect-themed duo, the Goraijers, and the incredibly cool and entertaining Shurikinger.
I am Ninja of Ninja 天空忍者水忍者参上
Eventually adapted into Power Rangers Ninja Storm, this is the first season to feature 2 Red and 2 Blue Rangers on the same team. And this show was
would
originally
call it
planned to be
more
called
Velvet.
Dainin Sentai Ninja Man
Right?
or Great Ninja Squad Ninja
Or
Man.
Crimson. I think it's the Crimson. Right?
Toei would release another Dino-themed season in 2003
showed that-
with Bakuryu Sentai
showed
Aba
the-
Ranger,
in the actual
following a team
show.
of heroes brought together by their dino guts to fight against the Evolians. The premise of this show was very unique, having to do with a parallel Dino Earth that was created when a meteor struck Earth millions of years ago. Aba Ranger would also introduce the world to one of the coolest, most intimidating villains in the history of Sentai that would eventually become an ally and an Aba Ranger himself, Abare Kira.
あなたは人間じゃない
Footage of this show would be used for Power Rangers Dino Thunder, and this was the first season where the only female ranger on the team is a Yellow Ranger.
They didn't even reference the reference. I guess they got
2004 would
long
see the
videos,
release
so they
of
can't do
Tokuso
all that.
Sentai Deca Ranger, featuring a new mystery theme, along with other police elements. Deca Ranger follows a charismatic group of officers from SPD as they take on space criminals called
I watched,
alienizers.
like, a few
The word
episodes
Deca
of
is
the-
Japanese slang for
the one
detective,
based on,
hence the name. Deca Ranger
Megaforce.
utilized several unique mechanics to help the team solve crimes, including Jasmine's
was
ability
like
to
a
use
pirate,
ESP via
pirate
touch,
theme.
as well as Sin standing on his head in order to figure things out.
これは千のシンキングポーズである
All of the Rangers featured on the show are overflowing with personality, and the likability and charm of the show would keep it popular for years to come.
Thing.
Deca Ranger is also notable for featuring several auxiliary rangers who make
SPD
limited
was one
appearances
of the
while
best
henshin.
seasons.
Doggy Kruger, also known as Deca Master, is a dog who
think
serves as the mentor for
Dino
Deca Ranger.
Thunder was
Swan
better.
becomes Deca Swan, and we
Not
even
by
see
a whole
Deca
lot,
Bright, who is
it-
Deca
it
Break's
had a
superior officer. This
intrigue,
series featured
like-
the most protagonist rangers
Mostly
ever at the
say
time.
SPD.
デカイエローデカピンク
Deca Ranger would be adapted into Power Rangers SPD, and Deca Ranger featured 2 separate outros, both of which are of extremely high quality and very catchy. This season is unique in the fact that there isn't really an evil organization, but rather they tend to fight alienizers who are operating in their own interests. Deca Ranger is also the only Sentai where every main ranger goes by a nickname.
That is crazy.
あふれる勇気を魔法に変える
I thought this was a great show.
In 2005, Toei would head in yet another bold new direction with the wizard-inspired Mahou Sentai Magi Ranger. This show would follow the Ozu family as they utilized their magical abilities to fight against Infertia. This season capitalized on Harry Potter mania by utilizing various themes that you would expect from a magical Sentai, such as magic wands, known as Magi-Sticks, cloaks, and the ability to cast wacky and entertaining spells to turn the tide of battle. Magi Ranger was a fun and whimsical take on the Super Sentai formula.
青の魔法使いマジブルー
黄色の魔法使いマジイエロー
Magi Ranger would be adapted into Power Rangers Mystic Force, and Magi Ranger is unique in having the 6th Ranger known as Magi Shine marry a core member of the team in Urara, or Magi Blue. This was the final season to be shot in standard 4:3 aspect ratio, and this was also the final season to be released on VHS. 2006 saw the Super Sentai franchise enter a new era with Go-Go Sentai Bokenger, the first season to be filmed in 720p HD. This show was an anniversary season and featured a team of adventurers as they hunted for treasure and battled against the negative syndicates. With the word Boken meaning adventure, it was clear that Toei wanted to invoke the same sense of exploration and excitement present in Western projects like Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider. Our heroes would search for powerful artifacts called precious, and the search for these items would often lead our rangers to exotic new locations that gave this show a ton of excitement. Bokenger would be adapted into Power Rangers Operation Overdrive in the West. In addition to the new HD resolution, Bokenger was also notable for having the first 9-piece mecha fusion and a 10-piece mecha fusion.
燃え立つ劇は正義の証純連戦隊激レンジャー
2007 was the year of Juken Sentai Geki Ranger, an incredibly unique kung fu and animal themed season focusing on key and various aspects of Chinese mythology. In this series, our heroes would utilize their powers to battle against the evil schools of martial arts. Geki Ranger had a new tone that was completely unlike anything that preceded it, and even featured a cool new wolf-themed Violet Ranger. This show was adapted into Power Rangers Jungle Fury in the US and was released as a dubbed version in South Korea as Power Rangers Wild Spirits. This was the first Sentai to not feature belts on the Rangers' suits, and also the last season to only have 5 total Rangers.
Getting gear.
2008 was a high-octane thrill ride with Engine Sentai Go-Onger, another car-themed Sentai with an eccentric cast, explosive action, and tons of hilarious comedy. This series followed a group of heroes chosen by mechanical beings called engines to become Go-Onger and fight against the Gaiark. In addition to vehicles, Go-Onger also featured an animal motif and incorporated themes like pollution and conservationism. Every element of the show is enhanced by a charismatic cast and a story that's consistently fun and entertaining. Go-Onger would be adapted into Power Rangers RPM, and this is the first Sentai season to feature 2 6th Rangers in Go on Wings, consequently making it the first season with a female 6th Ranger as well. 2009 would see the release of a Super Sentai season with a brand new samurai theme in Samurai Sentai Shinkenger. This show follows samurai clan leader Takeru Shiba and his loyal retainers as they henshin into Shinkenger and fight against the Godoshu. Shinkenger sliced a special place for itself within the franchise due to it being so different from many of the other seasons. This show would creatively add the lighthearted Sentai formula to a classic Japanese drama, and somehow it worked perfectly.
But then when Jane
Shinkinger's
came back,
entertaining formula
liked it
proved to be
again.
extremely successful with fans, with the show's likable cast, well-choreographed action, and traditional Japanese style, making this one of the most
did her
popular
wrong, though.
seasons in history. Shinkinger would also be featured in an exciting
mind.
and memorable crossover
They
with
were
Kamen
famous
Rider
for
Decade, a first for
Just
both
like I did.
franchises. Shinkinger was adapted into Power Rangers Samurai in the West, and this show famously featured a temporary female Red Ranger in Princess Kaoru. As time has gone on, Shinkinger has cemented itself as a truly legendary entry into the franchise.
星は守るは天使の使
They
命
didn't say it was adapted. That was like one of the best theories. I saw this
In
one. This is the one I
2010,
saw.
Toei would try to follow up on Shinkinger's success with a brand new angelic Sentai, Intenso Sentai Goseiger. This show follows a group of Gosei angels as they fight against the evil spirits, and incorporates a playing card theme into the formula. Although Goseiger never reached the same heights as Shinkinger, this show would still deliver a lot of things that made Sentai popular, including a charming cast, a lot of exciting action, and a sense of wonder.
母性ブラック
Goseiger was adapted into Power Rangers Megaforce in the West. Goseiger is also unique in the fact that the Red Ranger, Alata, is not officially recognized as the leader. In fact, there isn't an official leader of this team. This was also the first season where all of the Rangers on the team used cards to henshin, as opposed to just one of the Rangers, as was the case with Magi Shine of Magi Ranger. Although Goseiger isn't remembered as well as Shinkinger or some other seasons in the franchise, there was a lot of quality in this series, and it did a good job continuing the legacy of Super Sentai. In 2011, the world wasn't ready for the phenomenon known as Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger, a pirate-themed anniversary season and one of the most popular Sentai seasons of all time.
豪快ブルー
This season
It looks
follows a
like it's
group
gonna
of
be great.
charismatic space pirates as they take on the evil space empire Zongyak. This season celebrates the rich history of Sentai and incorporates many elements, characters, and suit designs from previous seasons. In fact, the Gokaigers themselves had the ability to henshin into all of the previous Rangers from the series by utilizing various Ranger keys.
崩壊レッド
Gokaiger was led by Captain Marvelous, an eccentric anti-hero
This
with
might
no
be the
fear
one I
and tons
seen.
of style and flair. This
I
team
probably
is
didn't see the one
extremely
before.
endearing, despite them not always acting like heroes. These Rangers take what they want by force, but defend what they believe in fiercely, and always make a show of things.
豪快イエロー
This season was so popular that Gokaiger would appear in more crossover and team-up projects than any other season in history, and it would be adapted into Power Rangers Super Megaforce in the West. This was also the first Sentai season to
They
be
keep
released
saying
on
the
Blu-ray.
West, bro. Just say.
崩壊じゃ崩壊じゃスーパー戦隊
2001 also saw the release of the biggest Sentai film of all time in 199 Hero Grey Battle, an explosive and highly entertaining celebration of Super Sentai. This film features 199 heroes from the history of Super Sentai, and it feels like a climax to the entire franchise. This movie, of course, features a ton of Rangers in costume, but we also see a few unhenshined that we haven't seen in a long time. It's excellent fan service, and longtime fans of the franchise will definitely enjoy it. It's something that set this huge movie apart from all the other ones. At this point, it's considered an absolute classic.
海賊戦隊豪快じゃ
They keep missing the. They keep missing the mark.
ガボン
Of doing
Toei would
references.
continue to ride the wave of Gokaiger's success in 2012 with another huge crossover movie in Gokaiger vs. Gavin. This movie was the company's attempt at introducing Space Sheriff Gavin from the retired Metal Hero series to a new generation, and by teaming up with Gokaiger, they would do just that.
海賊戦隊豪快じゃ宇宙刑事ガボン
This movie sees Gavin attempting to capture the Gokaigers, but eventually he himself becomes captured by a group of villains, and the Gokaigers have to rescue him. This movie heavily leans into the popularity of Gokaiger, and there is a staggering amount of fan service here. Legendary Toku actor Kinji Oba reprised his role as Gavin, and we even have appearances from his other famous roles as Battle Kenya and Dingy Blue. And if that wasn't enough, we were even treated to an appearance from the next Sentai series.
特命戦隊オーバスター
2012's official Sentai series was
Go-Busters.
Tokume
Right,
Sentai
yeah.
Go Busters, a slick new Sentai themed around technology and spies. This This series introduced a lot of new concepts, like the Rangers having machine partners and the numerous references to the Western Power Rangers franchise, due to this being the 20th anniversary of Zyuranger, the show that was adapted into the first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. In this series, our heroes would battle against Vaglas. The style of this show was fresh and exciting, and continued the streak of excellent seasons in recent years. Go Busters was originally skipped over for a Power Rangers adaptation, but after Hasbro bought the Power Rangers brand, Go Busters would be adapted into Power Rangers Beast Morphers and debut in 2019. This was the first season where the suits are made of leather, and the first season where the team's name is plural. And Go Busters even featured Hiroya Matsumoto as Masato Jin, or Beatbuster, returning to the franchise years after playing Tsubasa Ozu or Magi Yellow in Magi Ranger.
We're gonna be right back to finish this. We got about 18 minutes left. So